Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Jovano Fernanda with student ID number 20010322052. I'm from Electrical Engineering major, D3 Electrical Engineering Study Program. Okay, this time I will explain about part of speech. What is part of speech? Part of speech is a classification of words that are categories of the role and function in a sentence of a language. By knowing the part of speech, one can know the function of the word in a sentence. In addition, part of speech is the first step that you need to learn when learning English. Its purpose is to understand sentence form in English. Part of speech in English is divided into 8 types, namely: first, pronoun; second, adjective; third, noun; fourth, conjunction; 5, adverb; 6, verb; 7, interjection; and last, preposition. Also, we can remember it with Panchavit. P, pronoun; A, adjective and noun; C, conjunction; A, adverb; V, verb; E, interjection; and P, preposition. Next, the following is a further explanation of the 8 types of the part of speech and table of part of speech. First, verb. Function or job of verb is action or state. Example word of verb is to be, have, do, like, work, sing, can, must. Example sentence of verb is Grammatical Literacy is a website. I like Grammatical Literacy. Like is verb. Next, noun. Function or job noun is thing or person. Example word of noun is pen, dog, work, music, town, London, teacher, John. Example sentence of noun is this is my dog. Dog is noun. He lives in my house. House is noun. We live in London. London is noun. Next, adjective. Function or job of adjective is describes a noun. Example word of adjective is good, big, red, well, interesting. Next is adverb. Function or job of adverb is describes a verb, adjective, or adverb. Example word adverb is quickly, suddenly, well, badly, very, really. Example sentence of verb of adverb is my dog eats quickly. Quickly, it is adverb. When he is very hungry. Very is adverb. He eats really quickly. Also, really is adverb. Next, pronoun. Function or job pronoun is replace a noun. Example word of pronoun is I, you, she, they, we. And example sentence of pronoun is Tara is Indian. She is beautiful. Beautiful. She is pronoun. Next, preposition. Function or job of preposition is links a noun to another word. Example word of preposition is to, at, after, on, but. Example sentence of preposition is we went to school on Monday. To and on is preposition. Next, conjunction. A function or job of conjunction is joins clauses or sentences or words. Sample word of conjunction is and, but, when. Sample sentence of conjunction is I like dog and I like cat. I like cat and I like dog. I like dog but I don't like cat. And is conjunction, but is conjunction. Next, interjection. Function or job of interjection is short summation, sometimes inserted into a sentence. Sample word of interjection is oh, ouch, hi, well. Sample sentence of interjection is ouch, that hurts. Hi, how are you? Ouch and hi is interjection. Okay, next. First is pronoun. A pronoun is a word that is used to replace a noun. The use of pronouns can prevent the repetition of words that can cause the discourse that is built is not clear. Pronouns, like nouns, have several types, including the following types of pronouns. An example. First, external pronoun is a pronoun to replace pointing word, namely I, you, we, they, she, he, it, them. Next, demonstrative pronoun to replace pointing words according to the number and distance. For example, this, that, this. Next, interrogative pronoun to ask a question. For example, who, which, whom, whose, what. Next, identified pronoun. Next, indefinite pronoun to express general things. For example, another, anything, everyone, everything, someone, none, and nothing, anywhere. Next, possessive pronoun to show possession and or ownership. For example, mine, yours, hers, his. Next, reciprocal pronoun to show a word when two or more of the subject perform the same action against each other. For example, each other, one other, one another. Relative pronoun for relative clause. For example, who, which, whom, whose. Next, reflexive pronoun to state that the subject suffers the action of the verb. For example, myself, yourself, ourselves, themselves. Next, intrusive pronoun. For example, himself, himself, ourselves, themselves. Okay, next is adjective. Adjectives are adjectives that are used to provide information on nouns and pronouns, unlike the previous three species of ours. Adjectives have no other form or type. Example of adjective: beautiful, angry, sad, pretty, ugly, handsome. Next, noun. Nouns are used to name people, things, animal, place, ideas, or concepts. As the name implies, nouns are used to mark an object. Usually, at the beginning of the noun, there is a particle and or the. Nouns can be singular or plural, and concrete or abstract. In a sentence, a noun can function as a subject, object, or preposition. Nouns are further divided into 7 types, namely: first, countable noun, Next, uncountable noun, and then proper noun, common nouns, abstract nouns, concrete nouns, collective nouns. Okay, types of nouns and examples. First, countable nouns can be counted. Yes, one noun is a noun that can be counted. For example, boat, car, phone, bottle. The sentence is a countable noun because it's clear that the name can be counted easily. Next is uncountable noun. Is the opposite of countable. None of these types cannot be counted in number. Or objects that are so numerous that they cannot be counted. Examples are sand, rice, milk, snow. Next, proper nouns are nouns in the form of names or nicknames, so that the first letter are capitalized. Proper noun can also be referred to as specific nouns, referring to the naming of object, nickname, or name. For example, Indonesia, England, Everest, Sahara, Simone, and so on. Next, common noun. The opposite of preferred noun. Common nouns are common or common nouns, so that the first letter of common nouns are not capitals. For example, country, city, month. The four nouns do not specifically mention the name of the country, city, month, and month referred to in a sentence. Next, abstract noun. As the name implies, this noun states abstract things such as ideas, concepts, circumstances, feelings, and so on. For example, time, idea, imagination. Next is concrete noun. This noun is something tangible, and the word is material. For example, cheese, chocolate, table, head. Collective noun is collective noun or group name, or refers to a group animal, people, or object. For example, couple, staff, government, utilities, families. Okay. Conjunction. Conjunction refers to connect two words, phrases, clauses, so that they become a sentence. Types of conjunction. Conjunction is divided into three types as follows. First, coordinating conjunctions, namely conjunctions that connect two grammatical forms that are the same. For example, and, but, yet, also, for. So, subordinating conjunction, namely conjunction that connect the main clause with the subordinate clause. For example, since, although, other. Correlative conjunction, namely conjunction in pairs. For example, each or, be with, between, and, from, to, rather, and, with them. Okay, next, adverb. As the name implies, adverbs serve to provide information. 5 types of adverb is: first, adverb of manner, for example, fast, softly, quickly, well, slowly, hard. Next, adverb of time, for example, yesterday, this morning, this afternoon, daily, recently, tonight, early. Next, adverbs of degree, for example, enough, so, very, too, quite, just, almost. Adverb of frequency, for example, usually, rarely, always, often, sometimes, barely, daily. Next, adverb of place, for example, behind, in, below, above, somewhere, nearby. Next, verb. Verb is a verb that is used to express the action. Action or said or subject to indicate event or circumstance. Three kinds of verb. First, action transitive verb indicates the action or ownership and use followed by a direct object. For example, have, give, read, ask, buy, hit, make, show, eat, drink, sit, stand. Next, intransitive action verb. The opposite of a transitive verb shows an action that is not followed by a direct object. For example, arrive, rise, white, come, go, smile, white. Okay, the last linking verb. A verb that shows connecting the subject. For example, taste, be, remain, age, look, see. Okay, next. Interjection. Interjection is a part of speech that is used to express emotion, usually in the form of the word. For example, oh, hey, oops. Okay, the last is preposition. Preposition have a function to show the relationship between nouns and other words. 6 types of preposition is first, preposition of time, example, for example, after, during, until, since, before. Next, preposition of place, for example, in, on, at, above, under. Next, preposition of movement, for example, inside, outside, into, toward, out of. Next, preposition of manner, for example, without, like, by. Next, preposition of purpose, for example, for. And last, preposition of measure or quantity, for example, by, for. Okay, thank you. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Jovano Fernanda with student ID number 20010325052. I'm from Electrical Engineering major, D3 Electrical Engineering Study Program. Okay, this time I will explain about part of speech. What is part of speech? Part of speech is a classification of words that are categories the role and function in a sentence of a language. By knowing the part of speech, one can know the function of the word in a sentence. In addition, part of speech is the first step that you need to learn when learning English. Its purpose is to understand sentence form in English. Part of speech in English is divided into 8 types, namely, okay, first, pronoun. Second, adjective. Third, noun. 4, conjunction. 5, adverb. 6, verb. 7, interjection. And last, preposition. Also, we can remember it with Panchavip. P, pronoun. A, adjective and noun. C, conjunction. A, adverb. V, verb. E, interjection. And P, preposition. Next, the following is further explanation of the 8 types of the part of speech and table of part of speech. First, verb. Function or job of verb is action or state. Example word of verb is to be, have, do, like, work, sing, can, must. Example sentence of verb is Gramedia Literacy is a website. I like Gramedia Literacy. Like is verb. Next, noun. Function or job noun is thing or person. Example word of noun is pen, dog, word, music, town, London, teacher, John. Example sentence of noun is this is my dog. Dog is noun. He lives in my house. House is noun. We live in London. London is noun. Next, adjective. Function or job of adjective is describes a noun. Example word of adjective is cute, big, red, well, interesting. Next is adverb. Function or job of adverb is describes a verb, adjective, or adverb. Example word adverb is quickly, silently, well, badly, very, really. Example sentence of verb of adverb is my dog eats quickly. Quickly it is adverb. When he is very hungry. Very is adverb. He eats really quickly. Also, really is adverb. Next, pronoun. Function or job pronoun is replace a noun. Example word of pronoun is I, you, she, they, we. And example sentence of pronoun is Tara is Indian. She is beautiful. Beautiful. She is pronoun. Next, preposition. Function or job of preposition is links a noun to another word. Example word of preposition is to, at, after, on, but. Example sentence of preposition is we went to school on Monday. To and on is preposition. Next, conjunction. A function or job of conjunction is joins clauses or sentences or words. Example word of conjunction is and, but, when. Example sentence of conjunction is I like dog and I like cat. I like cat and I like dog. I like dog but I don't like cat. And is conjunction, but is conjunction. Next, interjection. Function or job of interjection is short exclamation, sometimes inserted into a sentence. Example word of interjection is oh, ouch, hi, well. Sample sentence of interjection is ouch, that harsh. Hi, how are you? Ouch and hi is interjection. Okay, next. First is pronoun. A pronoun is a word that is used to replace a noun. The use of pronouns can prevent the repetition of words that can cause the discourse that is will is not good. Pronouns like nouns have several types, including the following types of pronouns and examples. First, personal pronoun is a pronoun to replace pointing word, namely I, you, we, they, she, he, it, them. Next, demonstrative pronoun to replace pointing words according to the number and distance. For example, this, that, this. Next, interrogative pronoun to ask a question. For example, who, which, whom, whose, what. Next, identified pronoun Next, indefinite pronoun to express general things. For example, another, anything, everyone, everything, someone, none, and nothing, anywhere. Next, possessive pronoun to show possession and or ownership. For example, mine, yours, hers, his. Next, reciprocal pronoun to show a word when two or more of the subject perform the same action against each other. For example, each other, one other, one another. Relative pronoun for relative clause. For example, who, which, whom, whose. Next, reflexive pronoun to state that the subject suffers the action of the verb. For example, myself, yourself, ourselves, themselves. Next, intrusive pronoun. For example, himself, ourselves, themselves. Okay, next is adjective. Adjectives are adjectives that are used to provide information on nouns and pronouns, unlike the previous three species of ours. Adjectives have no other form or type. Example of adjective: beautiful, angry, sad, pretty, ugly, handsome. Next, noun. Nouns are used to name people, things, animals, place, ideas, or concepts. As the name implies, nouns are used to mark an object. Usually, at the beginning of the noun, there is a particle and or the. Nouns can be singular or plural, and concrete or abstract. In a sentence, a noun can function as a subject, object, or preposition. Nouns are further divided into 7 types, namely: first, countable noun, next, uncountable noun, and then proper noun, common nouns, abstract nouns, concrete nouns, collective nouns. Okay, types of nouns and examples. First, countable nouns can be counted. This one noun is a noun that can be counted. For example, book, car, phone, bottle. A sentence is a countable noun because it's clear that the name can be counted easily. Next is uncountable noun. Is the opposite of countable. None of this type cannot be counted in number, or objects that are so numerous that they cannot be counted. Examples are sand, rice, milk, snow. Next, proper nouns are nouns in the form of names or nicknames, so that the first letter are capitalized. Proper noun can also be referred to as specific nouns, referring to the naming of object, nickname, or name. For example, Indonesia, England, Everest, Sahara, Simone, and so on. Next, common noun. The opposite of proper noun. Common nouns are common or common nouns, so that the first letter of common nouns are not capitals. For example, country, city, mountain, month. The four nouns do not speak specifically mention the name of the country, city, and month referred to in a sentence. Next, abstract noun. As the name implies, this noun states abstract things such as ideas, concepts, circumstances, feelings, and so on. For example, time, idea, imagination. Next is concrete noun. This noun is something tangible, and the word is material. For example, cheese, chocolate, table, head. Collective noun is collective noun or group name, or refers to a group animal, people, or object. For example, couple, staff, government, utilities, families. Okay. Conjunction. Conjunction refers to connect two words, phrases, clauses, so that they become a sentence. Types of conjunction. Conjunction is divided into 3 types as follows. First, coordinating conjunctions, namely conjunctions that connect two grammatical forms that are the same. For example, and, but, yet, or, so, for. So, subordinating conjunction, namely conjunction that connect the main clause with the subordinate clause. For example, since, although, after. Correlative conjunction, namely conjunction in pairs. For example, either or, between and, from to, rather than, with them. Okay, next, adverb. As the name implies, adverbs serve to provide information. 5 types of adverb is: first, adverb of manner, for example, fast, softly, quickly, well, slowly, hard. Next, adverb of time, for example, yesterday, this morning, this afternoon, daily, recently, tonight, early. Next, adverbs of degree, for example, enough, so, very, too, quite, just, almost. Adverb of frequency, for example, usually, rarely, always, often, sometimes, barely, daily. Next, adverb of place, for example, behind, in, below, above, somewhere, nearby. Next, verb. Verb is a verb that is used to express the action. Action or state or subject to indicate event or circumstance. 3 kinds of verb. First, action transitive verb indicates the action or ownership and use followed by a direct object. For example, have, give, read, ask, buy, hit, make, show, eat, drink, sit, stand. Next, intransitive action verb. The opposite of a transitive verb shows an action but is not followed by a direct object. For example, arrive, rest, white, come, go, smile, white. Okay, last, linking verb. A verb that shows connecting the subject. For example, taste, be, remain, age, look, see. Okay, next. Interjection. Interjection is a part of speech that is used to express emotion, usually in the form of the word. For example, oh, hey, oops. Okay, the last is preposition. Preposition have a function to show the relationship between nouns and other words. 6 types of preposition is: first, preposition of time, sample, for example, after, during, until, since, before. Next, preposition of place, for example, in, on, at, above, under. Next, preposition of movement, for example, inside, outside, into, toward, out of. Next, preposition of manner, for example, without, like, by. Next, preposition of purpose, for example, for. And last, preposition of measure or quantity, for example, by, for. Okay, thank you. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.